thing, I mean, you hear a lot of things about South Africa before you ever get to the country regarding how the house music scene is, and so I was kind of prepared to, or prepared in what I experienced, but you know, obviously the country has a history with apartheid and cultures being split between the black and the white communities, and so that's reflected a little bit in the music. The urban scene, the black scene, is very deep house, very tribal, very spiritual in its lyrics, and you know, the white scene is a little bit more upbeat, commercial, and maybe European influenced in its dance music. But from the events that I've been to, which have been mainly on the urban side, I have to say it's an experience that you're not likely to forget. It's the passion that you feel that the crowd has for the music, and the adulation and the recognition that they give the DJs is like something I've not really experienced anywhere else in the world. I really enjoyed Spring Fiesta because of the diversity of the music that I heard. I mean, there was a hip hop arena, there was a ragga arena, there was a classics club where they were playing old school house, and then there was the areas where I spent most of my time was the deep house arena, where I got to see Julian Gomez play. And I thought it was amazing. The DJs before and after were playing tune after tune, which I didn't know, and I had no awareness of the records. And I'm pretty knowledgeable about my house music, so to come and hear super deep house music and it really connect with the crowd and see the way the guys interact with the music. I mean, there was people just standing there appreciating, head nodding. There was people really animated in their dancing. There was people dancing together like they had routines, and I could stand there and just watch the people and listen to the music and really get off on the music. And then you go across to the main stage. I saw Black Coffee, which was pretty emotional, actually. I mean, he's obviously uber iconic in South Africa, and the audience knew everything word for word. I saw Mi Casa, which was slightly different, but again, the first 4 rows of people were girls singing back to Jay, the lead singer, and a really great connection between him and the crowd. I saw Dennis play. You know, it was great to see him come to South Africa and play How Can I Let Go, Touch the Sky, Hey Hey, and obviously they really resonated with the crowd. And then something completely different to flip it over was Fresh and Euphonic, who played, you know, a much more kind of EDM, what we call EDM in Europe. And again, the crowd went mad, but in a completely different way. It was really jump up and you know, they were just much more animated. Whereas with Black Coffee, it just seemed to be much more respectful and paying homage to him and singing back to him. So to get that kind of diversity of reaction and the diverse music and everybody into the same thing is quite unique, because in Europe, you would have to go to separate stages to hear that diversity of music. So great crowd. There was no tension. You know, sometimes you go to festivals and there's tension. Just a great experience. I loved it. Yeah, we started Defected 1st of January 1999. So it's kind of when you're in the midst of something, sometimes you don't realise actually what's happening or the length of time you've been doing something. So I have to stop myself to believe that we've been going for 15 years, and it's been a tough time to run a record label. I mean, we've had to, you know, to cope with the download situation, file sharing situation. A lot of retail in the UK has gone out of business, and the business that I started back then, which was selling vinyl and CDs in the high streets of the UK, doesn't exist anymore. The new business that I run now is almost totally digital, and we manage DJ producers. We put on events, something that we never did when we first started. So it's been a really interesting journey. We've had to really think on our feet. We had to make decisions really quickly if something's not working or if something adversely is going to affect the business. We have to change course really quickly. And I think that being nimble has enabled us to survive, basically. But now, having come through all of that, I believe that we're business-wise, we're a really strong company. Because we're very aware of the dangers that may happen as a business. And let's not forget, running a record label is a business. The byproduct of that is we get to listen to some great music, we get to release some great music, work with great producers, work with DJs, do amazing club nights. And then to make that your job is something that sometimes, I'll be doing something really normal, like mowing the lawn at home, or just and I'll stop myself and I go, wow, I was in Japan last week DJing and everyone was going crazy. And when you actually think about it, you go, yeah, I'm blessed, that's an amazing feeling. So it's running your own business and being involved in music and making it work it's just a great feeling. We get sent an abundance of music from all over, from different countries, from DJ producers, from artists, and it's with the internet, and you're so accessible on the internet. It comes at you non-stop. I believe there's always a lot of people complain because it's so easy to make music now that there's a lot of bad music around. But there's always been bad music. I can remember working in a record store and someone would come in off a van and try and sell you a 12-inch and you'd go, oh, sorry mate, I can't do anything with this. And that would happen you'd only pick a certain small percentage of the music that was presented to you to sell in the store. And that's the same process that we go through in an A&R. I mean, we get sent a lot of music. When something's bad and it's not appropriate, you listen to it very, very quickly and you make up your mind almost within 5 seconds. So listening to bad music whilst it's a chore doesn't actually take very long. It's the records that are almost quite good that take up all the time, because you listen to them 4, 5, maybe 10 times before you decide whether you really like it and you want to proceed with it or you don't. The records that hit you over the head the first moment you listen to them are very rare. But normally they're winners. You don't think twice about it, and if it has that kind of reaction with you, it normally resonates with DJs and the public alike. So, it's one of those jobs that people that in similar positions to me like to complain about, but really there's nothing to complain about really, because. Selecting music is a process that DJs have to go through. If you work in a store, you have to go through, and doing A&R it's just part and parcel of what you do. But the payoff when you hear a great record is totally worth it. There's 3 of us at work. There's myself, Andy Daniel, and Luke Solomon. So,
and you A&R across all the labels.
And we A&R across all the labels. Yeah, we have broad taste because we're old school in our view of house music. It's not about we like deep house or we like tech house or techno or soulful house or old school New Jersey house. We just like everything as long as it's a good record. Yeah. So we're able to decide whether we like a record, and then we allocate it to the label that we think is most appropriate to. I think that. Ultimately, it's not a science.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think you can be scientific about your research and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's just whether you can hear records or not.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, you know, there's two ways of discovering a record. Sometimes, if you heard that 6 DJs that you really respect are all playing a record, you know you're going to like it. You know, you don't even have to hear it; you just buy it. You know, so that's just research, and then it's your own instinct, really.
Sure.
There's there's a story. It's absolutely true, and actually, Calvin Harris made public the fact that I sent him a letter when he was 13 years old. He sent me in a cassette at the time with, or it may even have been a CD. It's so long ago, it's hard to remember, but with 6 or 7 tracks on. I mean, and it was really early stage of his careers, and they showed potential to the extent that I actually wrote him a letter. I sent him a huge packet of CDs, parcel of CDs up to his house, and I called him, and I bumped into him in Ibiza 2 seasons ago, and I'd never met him as Calvin Harris, and we got introduced, and he said, "You made me miss EastEnders," which is a popular UK soap opera on the TV. And I was like, "I'm sorry, I have no clue what you're talking about." He said, "When I was 13, I sent you some demos. You sent me a letter, and then you called me and told me that you thought they were really good, not to give up, that, you know." And he obviously didn't. What he forgot to do was, when he did get really good, to send me the music then. And whether I'd have picked it up or whether I'd have passed it on, I don't know. But I couldn't actually remember the writing him a letter or calling him or whatever. But when he tweeted the letter, he found it in his studio. When he tweeted the letter, because loads of people go, "Oh, have you seen what Calvin Harris has done? He's tweeted a letter you sent him." Basically, his real name's Adam Wiles, and I wrote to Adam Wiles, and I remember doing that. I just couldn't remember his name, Calvin Harris, because it wasn't what he was called then. So the moment I saw that, I did remember it. But you know, it's just like within dance music, it's like the guy that passed on the Beatles. Yeah, I mean, he's sold 5 million singles this year in the UK alone. So, but it's not really, what he does is not really my thing. So it's not something I look back and kick myself about. It's just one of life's great stories. Yeah. We've been speaking to our label partner Soul Candy about coming down to South Africa for almost a year now, and we're really eager to come and perform and to do shows in South Africa. But we really want the lineup and the circumstances to be perfect. So we are, you know, having come down here for a second time, and the way that the scene is developing globally and house music is becoming more popular globally, it's a very key territory for us. I mean, some of the producers that are emanating out of South Africa are making music that's being recognised all over the world. We've picked up an album by a young producer called Cuba, which we're going to release outside of Africa. Julian Gomez recently did a remix for us on a copyright release. So we want to interact with Soul Candy. We want to come to South Africa and support the scene here, or support our releases, but we also want to try and support South African music and producers by promoting them on our networks around the world. So hopefully 2014 early we will get invited, and the lineup will be the right lineup, and we'll be playing. Looking forward to it.